Hey YouTube, Meef here. Welcome to episode 50 of my FTB Continuum quick tips and tricks. Um, so I wanted to go over a little bit of the asteroid mining data stuff. Um, so we launched the first satellite in the last episode. So in order to get this to actually do a little bit more, the other two types of sensors actually have to be launched. So build yourself two more satellites, just like you did with the previous one. Couple basic solar panels, some of these data storage units, and then make sure you got the satellite ID chips. As you can see here, I have all these assigned and launched. Let's pull these out. So you can see here I've got an optical telescope in there right now collecting data, but I also have a mass scanner and a composition scanner, so you should have both of those. And so what I'm doing is pulling the data. When we connect these, it should be filling this stuff up, and we should be able to store that to a chip. But once we actually push this stuff, this has got to be stored. We'll put that on there. But you'll see this data builds up, and you can store it on these data storage units. Let's go take a look over here. This next machine is the Astrobody Data Processor. So what's going on here is you take the data off of these chips, and depending on what type it is, here you can see its distance, and you're able to put this stuff into these buffers. Now what's going on here is once you've got all three types, there's composition, there's distance, and then there's mass data, you can kind of do some research with it. Now, this is kind of a two-part thing, and I'm going to go through this quick just because I think the other part of this, the macroscope or this observatory, is done. It only works at night, I think. That's kind of what it seems like. I have this built. We'll go over the materials as soon as I actually go through this stuff. You can see that right now this is open. I'm pretty sure it only opens at night because, well, that would make sense. You're checking out stuff at night. Don't do it during the day. Now the way this works is you have to load some distance data in here to begin with. So we can go ahead. I'll load this distance data in here. I've already got some sitting there, which is fine. We can store that to the buffer. Actually store it to the chip and then restore it to this buffer if it'll let me. Maybe it won't. Maybe it doesn't need it. Let's do it through here. So we pushed all that data back out. Use the data bus. I don't know if this is buggy or what, but so you can see there's a certain amount of data there. But then we can go through and actually take a look at, and you got to be kind of careful. You can't select these. You have to kind of click this area below, but you can kind of scroll through here and see what kind of asteroids are available to this observatory. And let's scan this one. So it consumes 100 distance data, which is fine, whatever. But you can kind of see ancient pewters. So there's a certain amount of tin sitting out there, lead ore, this carbonic, there's a whole bunch of diamond ore, looks like coal out there too. Let's scan one more time, see if we can come up with something kind of cool here. It's ferric pyrite, ancient pewter. Let's do it one more time. Not a whole lot that time. I think this is kind of attached to the random number generator, just as to what comes up here. Probably shouldn't burn through all this, but whatever. Let's see if I can find something cool. A lot of ancient pewter, and it could be it could have something to do with the distance here. I use lenses in this. We'll talk about that in a minute, but so what I'm going to select here is, it looks like this is going to be diamond ore, coal ore, and there's a certain amount of cobblestone that's going to come through too. Here I have a programmed one, and you can see I've already done a little tiny bit of research here, but I also have another asteroid chip. Now this one's unprogrammed, so let's take a look. Let's get into the interface here. Let's say I want to select this this carbon-based asteroid. Let's put an asteroid chip in here, and you can see there's process discovery. This is actually a button. This won't let you do anything unless it's at night, I think that's the way it seems. But you'll see there's a certain amount of stuff that's got to be completed here. Let's go take a look at how this works with that Astro Data stuff. Okay, so here's the chip I just made. There was it was just minted. You can see that everything is zeros here. I've got composition data loaded, distance data, and mass data. And you can do that all with those data buses. But as soon as I put this in here and start building this stuff up. Now there's a certain amount of humidity data, temperature data, atmosphere density data that I don't have yet. I don't know if this is something that has to be done with another set of tools. I don't see the sensors for it, but I wanted to get this part of this here because this is confusing. This Astrobody Data Processor doesn't really do anything by itself. That whole tier of stuff here, this all works in conjunction. Now I think this is a mining drill, but we can actually do stuff with this. But I think we need to have the asteroid chips, and I think these need to be filled up or actually processed, have something done with them before. And we're going to cover that in the next episode once we get this figured out a little bit further. But I just wanted to go over how these three machines work together because they don't work standalone. Let's take a look at what these cost. Let's take a look at this. These aren't all that expensive. The Astrobody Data Processor is kind of the most expensive part of that, and you're looking at a couple tracking circuits and some Planet ID chips. Really not all that difficult. The other basic stuff, I mean, you look at stone slabs, a data bus. This stuff it's cheap. No big deal there. Let's take a look at, whoops. Let's take what it costs to do this observatory. This block is a little bit expensive. These lenses are a little bit different too. Let's take a look at the observatory first. Observatory. So this is pretty cheap. Motors are pretty cheap, but let's look at this lens because this isn't really a common one. So you're looking at 3 basic lenses, 3 pieces of glass, and an iron rod to come up with 1 lens. And part of that is going to be 3 lenses. So keep that in mind. The rest of this stuff is relatively simple. Definitely use this holographic projector to build this stuff. We kind of went over this, but if you shift right click, you've got the option to actually manipulate this and then change the way that looks. So keep that in mind. Okay, that'll be pretty much it for this episode. I think we're going to cover a little more once I get that drill set up. But I kind of wanted to go over this. If you're building it, don't get frustrated if you don't understand why in the hell this doesn't work, but they work in conjunction with each other. So just keep that in mind. Don't get frustrated. And we'll pick it up in the next episode on figuring this out and how to work with asteroids. Until next time.